Have you ever wondered if the power to completely transform your life is already within you? What if every word you speak, every thought you hold, could shape your reality? This isn't just a theory, it's a truth waiting for you to unlock. In the second part of this series, we dive deeper into the life-changing wisdom found in the Golden Book by Saint Germain. You'll discover how to awaken the divine I Am presence within you and learn to harness this infinite power to create a life of abundance, health, and peace. Ready to step into your greatness? Let's explore how. Chapter 11. The Radiance of Divine Love. There is a force greater than all others at the center of the world, within each and every creature. This force transcends space and time, mends all wounds, and brings all creation together in a single harmonic dance. The source from which all life originates and returns is divine love, the exact essence of the I Am presence. Divine love is a living, breathing reality and an ever-present energy that permeates everything and everyone, not just a far-off abstract idea. It is the universe's base, the glue that binds everything together, and the light that guides every soul on its journey. The most deep reality of our existence, that we are not distinct from the divine but rather are its manifestations, is experienced when we are filled with divine love. We are channels of this potent energy that has the ability to change not only our own lives, but also the lives of those around us. We are vessels through which divine love pours. The universe's creative energy is divine love. It is this force that gives birth to life, nurtures it, and helps it reach its full potential. We come into our own when we unite with this love, accepting the entirety of who we are and the boundless opportunities that lie ahead of us. The experience of divine love is not limited to a select few. It is available to everyone at all times. It is not something that must be earned or achieved. It is a gift that is freely given, a grace that flows from the heart of the divine to the heart of every living being. The challenge, however, lies in our ability to recognize and accept this love. So often, we are blinded by the illusions of the material world, by fear, doubt, anger, and separation, that we close ourselves off from the very thing that has the power to heal us, to uplift us, and to bring us into alignment with our true purpose. To open ourselves to divine love, we must first recognize that it is always present, always available, and always flowing towards us even when we are not aware of it. Divine love is like the sun, shining its light on all, regardless of whether or not we choose to stand in its warmth. It is a constant, unwavering presence that does not judge, does not discriminate, and does not waver. It is the purest expression of the divine, the very essence of what it means to be alive, and it is always seeking to express itself through us. A change in perspective is the first step in allowing ourselves to be loved by the divine. It calls on us to see past appearances and toward the underlying reality that the material world's illusions conceal. When we start to view the world through the lens of love, we come to understand that everything in our lives is a manifestation of this divine energy, and that every person, situation, difficulty, and blessing offers us a chance to deepen our relationship with the love that permeates everything around us and within us. Self-love is one of the most effective strategies to establish a connection with divine love. Acknowledging and respecting the divine essence within ourselves is the essence of self-love. It has nothing to do with conceit or narcissism. It is about being nice, compassionate, and respectful to oneself as we would someone we truly love. Loving ourselves makes room for divine love to grow and take root, which opens up more channels for it to pass through ourselves and into the world. Self-love requires us to let go of the judgments, criticisms, and negative beliefs we hold about ourselves. It calls us to forgive ourselves for the mistakes we have made, to release the guilt and shame that weigh us down, and to embrace the truth of our inherent worthiness. When we love ourselves, we are acknowledging the divine spark within us, the I Am presence that is the source of all love. We are affirming that we are deserving of love, not because of anything we have done or achieved, but simply because we exist, because we are expressions of the divine. As we cultivate self-love, we naturally begin to extend this love to others. Divine love is not something that can be contained. It is a force that seeks to expand, to touch the lives of others, to heal, to uplift, and to unite. When we are filled with divine love, we cannot help but radiate this love to those around us. We become beacons of light, shining our love into the world, illuminating the darkness and spreading the energy of healing and transformation. But divine love is not just about feeling good or being kind to others. It is also a powerful force for change. When we act from a place of divine love, we are aligning ourselves with the highest good, with the divine will, and with the creative energy of the universe. Our actions become more than just expressions of love. They become acts of creation, channels through which the divine energy flows into the world, bringing about transformation on both a personal and a global level. This is the true power of divine love. It is the force that can change the world, that can heal the wounds of the past, that can dissolve the barriers of fear and separation, and that can bring about a new era of peace, harmony, and unity. When we align ourselves with this love, we become co-creators with the divine, partners in the grand design of the universe, and instruments of its highest purpose. But the journey of divine love is not without its challenges. To truly embody this love, we must be willing to confront the shadows within ourselves, to face the fears, the doubts, and the wounds that have kept us separate from this love. We must be willing to let go of the old patterns of thought and behavior that no longer serve us, to release the attachments that keep us bound to the material world, and to surrender to the flow of divine love that is always guiding us towards our highest good. This process of surrender is not about giving up or giving in. It is about opening ourselves to the greater flow of life, to the wisdom of the I Am presence, and to the infinite possibilities that are always available to us. It is about trusting in the divine plan, even when we do not fully understand it, and allowing ourselves to be guided by the love that knows no bounds. In the end, divine love is the answer to every question, the solution to every problem, and the key to every door. It is the force that unites us all, that brings us into alignment with our true nature, and that guides us towards the fulfillment of our highest potential. As we open ourselves to this love, we discover that it is not something we need to seek or find. It is already within us, waiting to be recognized, embraced, and expressed. Chapter 12. The Mastery of Consciousness. In the vast landscape of human experience, the mind is both a powerful tool and a formidable obstacle. It is the birthplace of our thoughts, the architect of our beliefs, and the lens through which we perceive the world. Yet the mind is not the master. It is a servant of a greater force, the I Am presence, the divine consciousness that resides within each of us. Mastery of consciousness, then, is the art of aligning the mind with this higher presence, transforming it from a chaotic force into a precise instrument of creation. It is the process of reclaiming our inherent power, of taking control of our thoughts and directing them in alignment with the divine will. To understand the mastery of consciousness, we must first recognize the nature of the mind. The mind is a field of energy, a dynamic force that is constantly in motion, generating thoughts, ideas, and perceptions at every moment. These thoughts are not random. They are shaped by our beliefs, our experiences, and our emotional states. Left unchecked, the mind can become a runaway train, carrying us down paths of fear, doubt, and confusion. But when we take control of the mind, when we become conscious of our thoughts and choose them deliberately, we harness a power that can shape our reality in profound ways. This power comes from the I Am presence. It is the divine awareness that is within each of us and is an omniscient, unbiased witness to our feelings, ideas, and experiences. This presence is ever-centered, ever-calm, and ever-aware. It is the anchor that keeps us stable through the difficulties of life, the still spot in the middle of the storm. By uniting with this presence, we are able to rise above the confines of the mind and experience a higher plane of consciousness that allows us to see through the surface illusions and discern the underlying, more profound truths. Being cognizant of our ideas is the first step toward mastering consciousness. Although it might appear easy, this actually calls for a great deal of awareness and self-control. The mind is like a river. It flows and changes continuously. We must have the ability to see this flow without becoming caught up in it if we are to master consciousness. The art of noticing our thoughts without passing judgment, without attachment, and without reaction is known as mindfulness practice. By engaging in mindfulness practices, we establish a boundary between the observed, the thoughts, and the observer, the I am present. We have the ability to select and focus our ideas here in a way that is consistent with our best goals. We start to see patterns as we get better at watching our thoughts. We notice patterns in our thoughts. Some thoughts come back to us more often than others, some are energizing, while others are exhausting, and our thoughts are frequently influenced by our emotional states. Our subconscious programming, which is made up of the habits, beliefs, and training we have gathered over our lives, is what causes these patterns. In order to explore, challenge, and if needed, alter these patterns, we must bring them into awareness in order to master consciousness. Affirmation practice is one of the best strategies for changing subconscious tendencies. Repetition of intentional positive statements is known as affirmation, and its purpose is to rewire the subconscious mind to accord with the I am presence. By using affirmations, we are doing more than just repeating words. We are sowing seeds in the rich soil of our subconscious that will eventually sprout into new thought patterns, ways of being, and realities. For instance, we can utilize the affirmation, I am worthy, to replace a pattern of negative self-talk with a new perspective on our intrinsic merit. Visualization is another effective method for controlling consciousness. The process of forming clear, precise mental pictures of the reality we want is known as visualization. By actively sculpting the energy of our ideas and bringing solidity to the intangible and formlessness to the formless, visualization goes beyond simple imagination. Because the mind cannot discriminate between imagined and real experiences, visualization is effective. Clear and emotionally charged visualizations cause the mind to accept them as real, and the energy of our ideas starts to draw the corresponding reality into our experience. When visualization is coupled with the strength of the I am presence, it becomes an effective instrument for manifesting our ideal lives. But mastering consciousness is not just about changing our thoughts, it is also about expanding our awareness. To master consciousness, we must learn to see beyond the surface of things, to perceive the deeper currents of energy that flow through every experience. This requires us to cultivate a state of heightened awareness, where we are attuned not only to our thoughts, but also to our emotions, our physical sensations, and the energy of the world around us. This expanded awareness allows us to navigate life with greater ease and clarity, to see opportunities where others see obstacles, and to respond to challenges with wisdom and grace. As we continue on the path of mastering consciousness, we begin to realize that our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. The reality we experience is a mirror of our thoughts, beliefs, and consciousness. When we change our inner state, our outer reality shifts accordingly. This is the essence of conscious creation, the understanding that we are the creators of our reality, that we have the power to shape our lives according to our highest vision, and that the I am presence within us is the key to unlocking this power. However, enormous power also entails considerable responsibility. To fully accept responsibility for our thoughts, deeds, and lives is to attain mastery over consciousness. It is to acknowledge that we actively participate in the construction of our world, rather than being passive objects of circumstance. This calls on us to be watchful over our thoughts, to select them carefully, and to line them up with the greater good. Along with acting with the best of intentions, living authentically, and using our influence for the sake of others, it also calls on us. The path to awareness mastery is an ongoing activity that requires constant development, maturation, and refinement. It's a trip that calls for endurance, patience, and a strong dedication to the process of self-discovery. However, the benefits of this voyage are incalculable. We awaken to our actual power as divine co-creators as we become masters of consciousness. We make a life that represents the beauty, harmony, and wisdom of the I am presence inside us by transcending the boundaries of the mind and aligning with the limitless possibilities of the cosmos. In the end, mastery of consciousness is not about achieving a state of perfection. It is about embracing the process of becoming, of continually expanding our awareness, of deepening our connection to the divine, and of living in alignment with the highest truths of our being. It is about recognizing that we are not separate from the universe, but integral parts of its unfolding, that our thoughts are the seeds of our reality, and that the I Am presence within us is the key to unlocking the infinite potential of our consciousness. As we walk this path, we discover that the mastery of consciousness is not just a destination but a way of life, a journey that leads us ever closer to the realization of our true nature and the fulfillment of our highest purpose. Chapter 13. The Infinite Power of Gratitude. During calm times of introspection, when the outside world stops making noise and the mind becomes silent, a deep realization dawns. The secret to unleashing our limitless potential is thankfulness. It's a force so strong that it can turn even the most hopeless situations into chances for development, recovery, and happiness. Gratitude is more than just a feeling. It's a way of being in the world that uplifts and expands the spirit. Gratitude allows us to live in harmony with the divine flow of life, accessing the boundless resources of the cosmos and enabling them to materialize in all facets of our lives. The first step in cultivating thankfulness is realizing how basic but profound it is. Everything in our life, no matter how tiny or unimportant, is a gift. Every breath we take, every dawn we see, every person we come into contact with is a gift and a manifestation of the heavenly love that permeates everything in the universe. We change our perspective from what is lacking to what is there, from scarcity to plenty, and from fear to love, when we start viewing the world with thankfulness. A higher state of awareness, when we acknowledge the interconnection of all things and our own position as co-creators with the divine, is accessible through this perception change. Because it alters the energy we bring to every moment, gratitude is a potent instrument for changing our reality. We raise our vibration and align with the higher frequencies of love, joy, and serenity when we approach life with a grateful attitude. This alignment creates a self-feeding loop of plenty by drawing good things, people, and opportunities into our lives. Our lives start to mirror the symmetry and beauty of the divine order, the more we cultivate appreciation, and the more we discover for which to be thankful. But being grateful means accepting the difficulties as well as the positive things in our lives. Every challenge we meet is a summons to rise to our better selves, a chance for spiritual growth and an opportunity to overcome any impediment we come across. We may truly harness the power of this practice when we are able to discover thankfulness even in the face of adversity. We start to see that every experience, no matter how difficult or unpleasant, contains the potential for transformation. These experiences help to mold, hone, and equip us for the more important work that lies ahead. We need to make it a practice to find the positive aspects of every circumstance if we want to create a profound and lasting sense of thankfulness. This is not about downplaying the existence of suffering or hardship. Rather, it is about making the decision to pay attention to the lessons, the chances, and the benefits that are there no matter what, even under the most trying conditions. With time, this change in focus becomes a natural way of being and a lens through which we see the world. Although it does require work and patience, the act of expressing gratitude is one of the best methods to cultivate thankfulness. There are various methods to accomplish this, like as journaling, praying, or just pausing every day to be grateful for what we have in our life. By intentionally praising the good things in our lives, we strengthen the grateful energy, enhancing its benefits and attracting more happy events into our lives. Through the dissemination of thankfulness and the creation of a collective field of abundance, this practice not only changes our inner condition, but also the environment around us. Another effective healing tool is gratitude. We stop the flow of divine energy in our lives when we hang on to anger, fear, or resentment, which leads to stagnation and illness. However, when we choose to concentrate on being grateful, we let healing happen on all levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. This opens up energy channels. The walls of separation are broken down by gratitude, which reunites us with life's flow, and brings us back to our original condition of balance and well-being. Additionally, cultivating thankfulness strengthens our bond with the I Am presence that is inside of us. By being grateful, we become closer to this divine nature, which is the source of all love, wisdom, and power. By expressing our thankfulness, we validate our relationship to the boundless source of everything that exists and acknowledge the influence of the divine in our lives. This relationship fortifies our faith, develops our intuition, and gives us the ability to live in accordance with our greatest good. Gratitude permeates all part of our lives and is more than just a habit. It is a way of being. It is the cornerstone of a life lived in harmony with God and the basis upon which our spiritual lives are constructed. Knowing that we are backed by the boundless compassion and wisdom of the universe allows us to navigate the world with grace and ease when we are grateful. Through our words, deeds, and thoughts, we become conduits of this love, enabling the world to be filled with manifestations of the richness, harmony, and beauty of the divine order. However, gratitude's actual power comes from its capacity to help us live in the present. We miss the riches and beauty that are accessible to us in the present moment because we are so frequently consumed by regrets about the past or worries about the future. Because it reassures us that this moment, exactly as it is sufficient, gratitude helps us stay grounded in the here and now. We discover happiness, satisfaction, and serenity in the here and now, and we allow ourselves to be fully enveloped in this experience when we express thanks. As we continue to practice gratitude, we begin to see the world in a new light. We realize that every moment is a gift, that every person we meet is a teacher, and that every experience is an opportunity for growth and transformation. We come to understand that we are not separate from the world around us, but rather we are deeply interconnected with all of creation. This realization brings a sense of peace, a deep inner knowing that all is well, that we are exactly where we need to be, and that we are always supported by the infinite love and wisdom of the divine. In the end, gratitude is the key to a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. It is the doorway through which we enter into the flow of divine grace, the path that leads us to the realization of our highest potential. As we cultivate a deep and abiding sense of gratitude, we transform not only our own lives but also the world around us, creating a ripple effect of love, joy, and abundance that spreads out into the universe. The more we practice gratitude, the more we align ourselves with the infinite potential of the I Am presence, and the more we open ourselves to the limitless possibilities that life has to offer. Let us then choose to live in gratitude, to see the blessings in every moment, and to embrace the infinite abundance of the universe with open hearts and open minds. Chapter 14. The Radiant Path of Service. There is a deep and universal truth that resonates within the soul of every person. The most profound fulfillment in life comes not from what we receive, but from what we give. This truth is the essence of the path of service, a path that invites us to step beyond the confines of our personal desires and ambitions and into the boundless field of divine love and compassion. To serve is to align ourselves with the highest purpose of our existence, to become channels through which the light of the I Am presence flows into the world, healing, uplifting, and transforming everything it touches. Service is not merely a duty or an obligation. It is a calling, a sacred invitation to participate in the ongoing creation of the universe. When we engage in service, we are not just performing acts of kindness or charity. We are aligning our will with the divine will, becoming instruments of the divine plan. This alignment allows us to tap into the infinite power of the I Am presence, enabling us to bring forth the highest good in every situation. Service is the outward expression of the inner truth, that we are all connected, that we are all part of a greater whole, and that our true purpose lies in contributing to the well-being of all. The path of service begins with a shift in consciousness, a shift from seeing ourselves as separate individuals to recognizing our interconnectedness with all of life. This shift requires us to move beyond the ego's narrow focus on personal gain and to open our hearts to the needs of others. It calls us to see every person we encounter as a reflection of the divine, to recognize the spark of the I Am presence within them, and to treat them with the love, respect, and compassion that this recognition entails. But true service is not about sacrifice or self-denial. It is about joy. When we serve from the heart, we are not depleting our own resources. We are tapping into the infinite wellspring of divine love that flows through us. This love is boundless, inexhaustible, and ever-renewing. The more we give, the more we receive, not in material terms, but in the deep satisfaction that comes from knowing we are fulfilling our highest purpose. Service, when it is done from a place of love and compassion, brings a joy that transcends the fleeting pleasures of the material world. It connects us to the eternal, to the divine essence within us, and to the truth that we are all one. One of the most powerful ways to serve is by being fully present in each moment, by bringing our full attention, our full awareness, to whatever task is before us. Whether we are helping a friend in need, performing a simple chore, or engaging in a complex project, when we do it with mindfulness, with an open heart, and with the intention to serve, we transform the mundane into the sacred. Every act, no matter how small, becomes a conduit for divine love, a way to bring light into the world. This is the essence of selfless service, not seeking recognition or reward, but simply allowing the love of the I Am presence to flow through us, touching the lives of others in ways that are often unseen but always profound. Service also involves a deep listening, a tuning in to the needs of those around us, and to the guidance of the I Am presence within us. This kind of listening requires us to quiet the mind, to set aside our own agendas, and to be fully open to the moment. It is through this listening that we receive the inspiration and guidance to serve in the most effective and meaningful ways. Sometimes, service means offering a kind word or a helping hand. At other times, it may mean simply being present, holding space for someone who is going through a difficult time. Whatever form it takes, true service arises from a deep connection to the divine, from the recognition that we are all vessels of divine love, and that our highest purpose is to allow this love to flow through us into the world. The path of service is also a path of transformation. As we serve, we are transformed. The more we give, the more we are opened, the more our hearts expand, and the more we grow into the fullness of our divine potential. Service challenges us to move beyond our comfort zones, to stretch ourselves in ways that we might not have thought possible. It calls us to develop qualities such as patience, compassion, humility, and strength. These qualities are not just virtues to be admired. They are the building blocks of the soul, the foundations upon which we build our spiritual lives. But service is not always easy. There will be times when we are tired, when we feel unappreciated, or when the needs of others seem overwhelming. In these moments, it is important to remember that we are not serving from our own limited resources, but from the infinite abundance of the I Am presence within us. When we tap into this presence, we find that we have all the energy, all the love, and all the wisdom we need to meet the challenges before us. We discover that service is not about doing, but about being fully present, fully open, and fully aligned with the divine flow. As we continue on the path of service, we begin to see the world in a new light. We recognize that every person we meet is an opportunity to serve, that every challenge is an invitation to grow, and that every moment is a chance to express the love of the I Am presence. We come to understand that service is not something we do on occasion, but a way of life, a way of being that permeates every aspect of our existence. The path of service ultimately leads us to a place of deep inner peace and fulfillment. When we are in service to others, we are in service to the divine, and when we are in service to the divine, we are in alignment with our highest purpose. This alignment brings a sense of meaning and fulfillment that cannot be found in any other way. It connects us to the deeper truths of our existence, to the understanding that we are here not just to receive, but to give, not just to be served, but to serve. In the end, the path of service is the path of love. It is the journey of moving from the self to the self, from the ego to the soul, from the individual to the universal. It is the realization that we are all part of the same divine dance, that we are all expressions of the same I Am presence, and that our highest purpose is to serve this presence in each other and in the world. As we walk this path, we discover the true joy of living, the joy of giving, the joy of loving, and the joy of being in service to the divine in all things. Chapter 15. The Light of Inner Wisdom. In the journey of life, we are often faced with decisions, challenges, and crossroads that require more than just intellect or external guidance. There is a deeper, more profound source of knowledge that we all possess, an inner wisdom that transcends logic and reasoning. This wisdom is the light of the I Am presence within us, a divine intelligence that knows the path of our soul, the purpose of our existence, and the steps we must take to fulfill our highest potential. To access this inner wisdom is to connect with the very essence of our being, to tap into a wellspring of insight, clarity, and understanding that guides us through the complexities of life with grace and confidence. Inner wisdom is not something that can be acquired from external sources. It is an inherent part of who we are, a gift from the divine that resides within each of us. It is the quiet voice of intuition, the subtle nudges of the heart, and the deep knowing that often defies explanation. This wisdom is always available to us, always present, and always ready to guide us, but it requires us to tune in, to listen, and to trust its guidance. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and conflicting opinions, the ability to connect with our inner wisdom is a skill that must be cultivated, nurtured, and refined. Making room for inner wisdom to arise is the first step towards accessing it. This entails going into a state of silence where the voice of the I Am presence may be heard, clearing the mind and letting go of the incessant stream of thoughts. This stillness is not merely the lack of sound, rather, it is a condition in which we are totally alert, totally present, and totally receptive to the divine's direction. The whispers of our soul, the understanding that arises from the heart rather than the head, and the wisdom that surpasses our finite human comprehension can all be heard in this quiet condition. Meditation is one of the best practices for developing this stillness. Meditation is the discipline of inward turning, of calming the outside world and opening up to the soul's inner reality. We can connect with the I Am presence and discover the wisdom that resides inside by traveling to the depths of our being. Through meditation, we can learn to just be in the divine's presence, to watch our thoughts objectively, and to let go of the impulse to control or understand them. In addition to calming the mind, this technique deepens our connection to our inner wisdom and makes it easier for it to enter our consciousness. As our meditation practice grows, we start to recognize that intuitive insights, those epiphanies, those flashes of knowledge that make everything clear, are frequently manifestations of inner wisdom. These realizations are not coincidental. Rather, they are the I Am presence's voice speaking to us and directing us in the direction of our best good. Our ability to negotiate life with confidence and ease increases as we place more trust in these insights. However, inner wisdom is not confined to times of calm contemplation or meditation. Rather, it is a continuous force in our life that we can always call upon, even in the middle of the busiest, most hectic circumstances. The secret is to stay receptive to it, to stay in touch with the I Am presence that is within us, and to have faith that this wisdom will lead us at all times. This means that we have to make it a habit to tune in, to check in with our inner knowledge before making decisions, to listen to our intuition, and to follow our guidance, even if it deviates from accepted wisdom or outside counsel. Adhering to inner knowledge can be difficult at times, since it frequently calls for us to take chances, leave our comfort zone, and have faith in the invisible. Inner wisdom is the way to our greatest potential, and it's not always the simplest or most obvious route. Along the way, we often face obstacles and learn valuable lessons that help us along the way. Even though the journey is not what we had planned, we discover that when we trust this road and follow the counsel of our inner knowledge, it takes us exactly where we need to go. The capacity to discriminate between the voices of fear, doubt, or ego and the voice of the I Am presence is a crucial component of inner wisdom. This ability to discriminate is crucial because not all ideas and feelings are products of inner wisdom. Rather, some are the outcome of programming, conditioning, or outside factors that do not align with our best interests. We need to have a strong sense of self-awareness, an acute awareness of our own patterns, and a willingness to challenge our presumptions and beliefs in order to develop this discernment. Our ability to connect with inner knowledge and trust its direction increases with our practice of discernment. We start to realize that inner wisdom is a source of empowerment as well as direction as we work to strengthen our connection to it. Inner knowledge enables us to live genuine, meaningful lives that are in tune with the divine plan, make decisions that are in line with our inner purpose and fulfill us. It enables us to realize our greatest potential as co-creators with the divine, to live out our genuine potential, and to advance everyone's well-being. The path of inner wisdom is a journey of self-awareness, of understanding our true selves and our purpose in life. It is a route that calls for bravery, faith, and a strong dedication to the truth. However, it is also a very rewarding path since it brings us closer to a fulfilling life that is full of meaning and purpose. We learn that we are not alone on this journey. The I Am presence is guiding us, the universe's boundless wisdom is supporting us, and the light of our own inner understanding is empowering us. Ultimately, the illumination of inner understanding is the divine's light shining through us. It is the wellspring of all wisdom, insight, and knowledge. It is the light that leads us through the night and the compass that shows us the way north. By making a connection with this light, we can access the boundless potential of the I Am presence and welcome an endless life. So let's make the decision to follow the road of inner wisdom, put our faith in the I Am presence's guidance, and let our inner wisdom's light permeate every area of our existence. By doing this, we transcend from being merely searchers of truth to becoming its living representations, living examples of the divine knowledge that permeates all of creation. Chapter 16. The Alchemy of Forgiveness. One of the universe's most potent and transformational energies is forgiveness. It is the alchemical process that transforms the leaden weight of anguish, resentment, and wrath into the precious metals of love, freedom, and serenity. Fundamentally, forgiving is an act of profound spiritual conversion rather than merely letting go. It is the process by which we free ourselves from the responsibilities that have prevented us from living completely in the present and break free from the bonds that connect us to the past. We recover our power, mend our hearts, and let the limitless potential of the I Am presence inside us to flow through us when we forgive. Many times forgiveness is misinterpreted. It is not about downplaying the severity of the suffering we have endured, nor is it about endorsing bad conduct. Rather, forgiveness is the decision to break free from the negative feelings that might keep us stuck in painful and estrangement-causing cycles. Realizing that clinging to grudges, resentment, or bitterness hurts us more than it does other people is the key. By choosing to let go of someone's hold on our hearts and minds, and moving on with grace and compassion, we are not justifying the behavior of others. Forgiveness has the capacity to break down the walls separating us from the divine stream of love and light. We block our energy field and fail to completely experience the love and guidance of the I Am presence when we cling onto grudges. These obstacles can show up as mental disorientation, emotional anguish, or physical sickness, all of which are signs of a more profound spiritual detachment. The key to removing these obstacles and re-establishing the flow of divine energy is forgiveness, which also helps us to reconnect with our true selves. Recognizing the divine in both ourselves and other people is the act of forgiveness. It is to see past the outward manifestations of human nature to the fundamental reality that every one of us is a manifestation of the divine, functioning to the fullest extent possible within the limits of our current consciousness. This does not imply that we fail to see the wrong that has been done or that we never pursue justice when it is due. It actually means that we make the decision to view the circumstances from a higher standpoint, one that is based more in love and compassion than in condemnation and judgment. Making the choice to let go of the past and welcome the present with open arms is the first step toward forgiveness. Making this choice is not always simple, particularly if there are severe injuries or recent pain. However, one choice has the ability to drastically alter our life in ways we cannot even fathom. We are assuming the position of creator when we choose to forgive rather than the victim. We are making the decision to reclaim our power, own our own healing, and unite with the fullest manifestation of our I Am existence. Forgiveness is frequently a path that calls for endurance, patience, and a strong dedication to our own recovery. It is a continuous process that involves removing layers of hurt, rage, and fear, until we get to the essence of who we are, which is just love and light. It is not a one-time event. We might run against opposition along the road, both from the outside and from within. It is possible for us to experience the reappearance of old wounds, the reassertion of old thought and behavior patterns, or the temptation to revert to our old patterns of judgment and blame. However, every time we make the decision to forgive, we improve our ability to love and be compassionate, as well as our relationship with the divine. One of the most challenging aspects of forgiveness is learning to forgive ourselves. Often we are our own harshest critics, holding ourselves to impossible standards and punishing ourselves for our perceived failures and mistakes. But self-forgiveness is essential to the process of healing. When we forgive ourselves, we release the guilt, shame, and self-judgment that keep us locked in patterns of self-sabotage and unworthiness. We acknowledge that we, too, are divine beings, worthy of love, compassion, and grace. Self-forgiveness is the foundation upon which all other forgiveness is built, for it is only when we can truly love and accept ourselves that we can extend that same love and acceptance to others. Forgiveness also requires us to let go of the need for retribution or revenge. This does not mean that we ignore injustice or that we do not seek to make things right where we can, but it does mean that we release the desire to see others suffer as we have suffered. It means that we choose to trust in the divine order of the universe, knowing that justice will be served in the way that is most aligned with the highest good of all. When we let go of the need for revenge, we free ourselves from the toxic energy of hatred and anger, opening our hearts to the healing power of love. As we practice forgiveness, we begin to experience a profound sense of freedom and peace. The burdens that once weighed us down are lifted, and we find ourselves moving through life with greater ease and grace. We become more present, more open, and more connected to the divine flow of life. Our relationships improve, our health improves, and our sense of purpose becomes clearer. We begin to see the world through the eyes of love, recognizing the divinity in ourselves and in others, and we become agents of healing and transformation in the world. In the end, forgiveness is not just an act, it is a way of being. It is a state of consciousness that transcends the limitations of the ego and aligns us with the infinite love and wisdom of the I Am presence. It is the alchemy that transforms the lead of our human experience into the gold of divine realization, the key that unlocks the door to our highest potential. As we walk the path of forgiveness, we discover that we are not just healing our own hearts, we are healing the world, one act of forgiveness at a time. Chapter 17. The Symphony of Creation. Life is a symphony, a perfectly timed, harmonized fusion of intention, energy, and divine will. Every one of us is an important player in this massive symphony, adding our individual notes to the overall tune. This symphony is conducted by the I Am presence that resides inside each of us. It directs the course of our thoughts, feelings, and deeds to produce a life that is in harmony with the greatest vibrations of abundance, love, and peace. Living in harmony with this divine symphony means appreciating the creative potential that exists all around us and realizing that each instant presents a chance to create a work of art that perfectly captures the essence of our souls. Creating is an active, dynamic interaction with the universe, not a passive activity. The world we live in is shaped by the thoughts, words, and deeds we commit to, all of which unleash the creative energy. This creative force is not anything external to us. Rather, it is the fundamental essence of who we are, the divine spark that gives us life and links us to the boundless source of everything that exists. Upon acknowledging this fact, we assume our place as co-creators with the divine and become aware of our ability to mold our reality into the image of our highest good. The intention is the first step in the creation process. The germ of intention is the source of all creation. The universe's energy is directed toward a particular result by a distinct and definite intention. Setting an intention is more than just wishing for something to happen. It's connecting with the I am aspect of ourselves, drawing on the limitless creative potential of the divine and focusing it on our goals. This aim ought to be sincere, unadulterated, unattached, and based on what is best for both ourselves and other people. Visualizing the intended result clearly and firmly is the next stage in the creative process after the intention has been established. The process of forming an internal picture of the reality we want to experience is called visualization. With the use of this potent instrument, we can etch our wishes into the electromagnetic fabric of the cosmos, giving the intangible tangible form and the formless formlessness. When we imagine with feeling and conviction, we are not only daydreaming, rather, we are actively directing the creative force and bringing our goals to pass. However, creation involves more than just making plans and imagining results. It also entails acting on inspiration. Action is how we translate our ideas into the tangible world and is the outward manifestation of our creative potential. Inspired action is defined as being driven by a strong feeling of purpose and passion, operating in accordance with our best goals and receiving guidance from the I am presence. It arises organically from the connection of our goals, feelings, and ideas with the will of God. It is neither forced nor artificial. Taking inspired action allows the universe to work through us to manifest our wishes because we are acting in unison with the symphony of creation. An extreme degree of surrender and trust are also necessary for the creative process. The basis of creativity is trust, the conviction that, despite the absence of a clear path, the universe is constantly acting in our best interests and directing us in the direction of our ultimate benefit. The ability to relinquish control, let go of our attachment to certain results, and let life's divine flow guide us in the direction of our goals is the essence of surrender. This does not imply that we give up on our goals or aspirations. Rather, it implies that we have faith in the universe's wisdom and timing because we understand that everything is happening in precisely the right order. We come to understand that we are intricately entwined with all life and that we are not distinct from the environment around us as we participate in the creative process. Our thoughts, feelings, and deeds send out energy into the universe that reverberates, forming the reality we all experience and the collective consciousness. We feel more accountable since we understand that each of our unique creations contributes to the larger picture. It also gives us a sense of empowerment because we understand that we can further humanity's progress and uplift by directing our creations toward the ultimate good. Not only is the symphony of creation about making our dreams come true, but it's also about the path of introspection and spiritual development. We discover more about our identities, our interests, our skills, and our purpose through the creative process. We face difficulties and barriers that put our commitment to the test, broaden our perspective, and hone our moral fiber. We have triumphant and joyful moments that make us feel fulfilled and in tune with who we really are. Every work of art is a mirror reflecting our inner selves, revealing both our true selves and our evolving selves. It's critical to develop an attitude of thankfulness for the creative process during this journey. Gratitude is a potent energy that enhances our capacity for creativity, enables us to align with the flow of wealth, and draws more of our desired outcomes into our life. We strengthen our bond with the I Am presence inside us and make ourselves more receptive to receiving when we express gratitude for what we have made. Additionally, gratitude enables us to trust in the divine timing of our creations, enjoy the beauty of the unfolding process, and remain in the present moment. We start to realize that life itself is a work of art, a masterpiece that we are constantly sculpting and perfecting as we continue to participate in the symphony of creation. We come to understand that our lives are a reflection of the divine creativity that flows through us, and that we are both the creator and the product, the artist and the canvas. As we accept our responsibility for the life we are making and embrace our role as co-creators with the divine, this realization fills us with joy, purpose, and fulfillment. The ultimate manifestation of our soul is ultimately brought forth by the collaboration of the person and the divine in the symphony of creation. We learn how to harness the power of the I Am presence inside us and connect our creations with the highest good on this journey of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. Walking this road helps us become more aware of the universe's rhythm, more attuned to life's natural flow, and more unified with the boundless source of all creation. Chapter 18. The Eternal Flame of Courage. Every soul has a flame inside of it called courage, which illuminates the way to personal development, metamorphosis, and self-realization. It is not the lack of fear, but rather the control over it, the capacity to face uncertainty head-on, overcome uncertainty, and meet life's obstacles head-on with courage and resolve. The thing that pushes us over our ego's boundaries and into the wide reaches of our actual potential is courage. It is the outward manifestation of the I Am presence that exists within each of us and takes the form of the will to persevere, change, and live in accordance with our greatest good. Life is a journey with lots of chances to show bravery. Every moment gives us a choice to follow the voice of fear or to follow the call of our souls, to stay safe in the known or to venture into the unknown, to cling to the security of the past or to embrace the possibilities of the future. To choose the latter, to walk into the unknown and believe that the road we tread will reveal itself to us along the way, guided by the light of the I Am presence, requires courage. It takes courage to face our inner demons, as well as the difficulties we face from the outside that prevent us from moving forward. Our internal doubts, anxieties, and limiting beliefs might sometimes be more powerful than any outside danger. These inner demons speak softly in our ears, reminding us that we are unworthy, unstrong, and inadequate. However, bravery is the voice that rises above these murmurs, proclaims our divinity, and reawakens our sense of power and worth. It is the courage to examine oneself, confront our darkness, and bring them into awareness. One of the most important aspects of courage is the willingness to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, but in truth, it is one of the greatest strengths we possess. To be vulnerable is to be open, to be authentic, to be true to ourselves and to others. It is the courage to show up as we are, without the masks, without the defenses, without the fear of judgment or rejection. Vulnerability is the gateway to deep connection, to true intimacy, and to the full expression of our humanity. When we embrace vulnerability, we allow the light of the I Am presence to shine through us, illuminating the path for others to do the same. Courage also requires us to take responsibility for our lives. It is the recognition that we are the creators of our reality, that our thoughts, beliefs, and actions shape the world we experience. This responsibility can be daunting, as it means that we cannot blame others for our circumstances, nor can we wait for someone else to save us. But it is also empowering, as it means that we have the power to change our reality, to create the life we desire, and to live in alignment with our highest vision. Courage is the force that drives us to take ownership of our lives, to step into our power, and to become the conscious creators we were born to be. Courage is a necessary component of the self-realization journey. Spiritual growth is not always a simple journey. It is fraught with difficulties, roadblocks, and trials of faith. There will be times when we are afraid, when we are tempted to give up or turn back. But it is precisely in these times that we most need courage, for it is courage that gives us the strength to press on, to endure, and to have faith in the process, even in the face of uncertainty about how to proceed. The drive that pushes us forward in the face of adversity and keeps us focused on the light is courage. Compassion is likewise built on courage. Being truly compassionate means having the guts to let others into our hearts, to experience their suffering, and to show them our love and support, even in the face of difficulty. Being present with someone, giving them space to share their experiences, and extending our empathy and understanding are the key components of compassion rather than trying to heal or save them. This calls on us to open up, let go of our preconceived notions, and establish genuine human connections with people. It takes courage for us to accomplish this, to push past our comfort zones and help others when they need us. Living true to oneself is the ultimate bravery. To manifest our special abilities and gifts in the world, to live in harmony with our actual selves, and to heed the guidance of the I Am presence. This calls on us to let go of the constraints and expectations placed on us by society, to have faith in our own inner guidance, and to follow our own path, even if it takes us in a way that not everyone understands or finds acceptable. Living according to who we are is a declaration of our sovereignty, our freedom, and our divine right to be ourselves. It is a revolt against the forces of fear and compliance. Our perspective on the world changes as we learn to live courageous lives. We understand that the difficulties we encounter are not threats to be overcome, but rather chances for development and change. It becomes clear to us that our concerns are not obstacles to our achievement, but rather calls for us to take charge of our lives and go beyond our present bounds. We realize that courage is facing our concerns head-on and having faith in the I Am presence to lead and assist us along the journey, rather than being fearless. Ultimately, the secret to realizing our greatest potential is bravery. It is the motivation behind our aspirations, perseverance through difficulties, and commitment to leading authentic lives. It is the fire that resides within us, illuminating our path and providing us with the fortitude to meet any challenge. We open ourselves to the limitless opportunities life presents when we embrace courage and recognize our own power. Thus, let us make the decision to live brave lives, confront our anxieties, accept our vulnerability, and accept accountability for our actions. Let us put our faith in the I Am that exists inside of us and know that we are always loved, supported, and directed. Let us bravely venture into the unknown, understanding that it will be with our courage that we will discover our true path and reach the pinnacle of our potential. By doing this, we will not only change our own lives, but also encourage others to follow in our footsteps, sending a wave of bravery, love, and transformation around the globe. Chapter 19. The Divine Dance of Harmony. Harmony is the essence of the universe, the underlying principle that brings order, balance, and beauty to all of creation. It is the invisible thread that weaves together the diverse elements of life into a cohesive and coherent whole, allowing each part to complement and enhance the others. In the grand symphony of existence, harmony is the melody that runs through every note, the rhythm that guides every step, and the energy that flows through every moment. To live in harmony is to align ourselves with this universal principle, to move in sync with the natural rhythms of life, and to create a life that is in balance with our true nature and the world around us. The I Am presence within us is the source of this harmony. It is the divine conductor that orchestrates the movements of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, guiding us towards a life of balance, peace, and fulfillment. When we are in tune with this presence, we find that our lives flow with ease and grace, that challenges become opportunities for growth, and that everything we need comes to us at the perfect time. Harmony is not something we need to create. It is something we need to recognize and align with, for it is already present within us and within the fabric of the universe. Living in harmony is not always simple, though. Our world is full with conflicting demands and diversions, and it is frequently chaotic and unpredictable. It is effortless to detach from our intrinsic balance and become unbalanced due to the demands and strains of everyday existence. However, even in the midst of chaos, we are capable of finding our center again, re-establishing our connection to the I Am presence and bringing harmony back into our life. To do this, we must learn to be attuned to our inner serenity, create a routine that helps us stay focused and grounded, and make decisions that are in line with our authentic selves. The practice of mindfulness is one of the most effective strategies to foster harmony. The practice of mindfulness involves paying attention to our thoughts, feelings, and experiences while avoiding passing judgment or attachment. Being mindful helps us become aware of the subtle energies that are all around us and inside us. As a result, we are better able to discern when we are in balance and when we are not. With this awareness, we are able to make decisions consciously that facilitate our alignment with the I Am presence and the cycles of life. We must accept the idea of balance in order to achieve harmony. A state in which all facets of our lives are in balance and no one sector overpowers or dominates the others is known as harmony. We must take care of and nourish each of our 5 dimensions of existence, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, if we are to attain equilibrium. This entails nurturing our minds through learning, creativity, and focus, tending to our emotions through self-awareness, expression, and healing, nurturing our spirits through spiritual practices, meditation, and joyful, fulfilling activities, and taking care of our bodies through wholesome food, exercise, and rest. Being in sync with the natural world is another aspect of living in harmony. The universe's balance and order are demonstrated in nature, which is the pinnacle of harmony. We re-establish a connection with these innate rhythms when we spend time in nature, and we are reminded of the significance of living in harmony with the planet and its cycles. Whether it's strolling through the forest, lounging by the sea, or just seeing the dawn, these times spent in nature help us rediscover our inner balance and peace. Harmony involves more than just keeping our internal equilibrium. It also involves fostering harmonious interpersonal interactions. The harmony or discord within us is reflected in the way we connect with other people. Our relationships are filled with a sense of calm, love, and understanding when we are in tune with who we really are. We have the capacity to speak honestly and compassionately, listen to others with an open heart, and handle disagreements with dignity and respect. Finding a means to communicate our needs and desires in a way that honors both ourselves and the other person can lead to harmony in relationships, rather than avoiding conflict or repressing our own feelings. Living in harmony with the greater whole, or realizing that we are a part of a bigger community, environment, and universe, is another way to define harmony in a broader meaning. This entails making decisions that promote the welfare of everyone, while keeping in mind how our activities affect other people and the environment. It entails leading an environmentally conscious, accountable, and considerate life that values the planet and its resources. It entails realizing that everyone and everything in the planet is impacted by our activities, and that we are all interconnected. We start to perceive the world differently as we work to create harmony in our lives. We experience a profound sense of connectedness to the world around us and acknowledge the beauty and order that permeate all of creation. Living in accordance with our actual nature and the I Am presence inside us brings us a sense of inner serenity and purpose. We discover that things go more smoothly in our life, that obstacles are easier to overcome, and that we are stronger when faced with hardship. Harmony, however, is a dynamic process that constantly dances between order and chaos, between balance and imbalance. It is not a static state. It calls for us to be adaptive, flexible, and receptive to change. It calls on us to continuously evaluate our lives, make necessary corrections, and maintain awareness of the beats of our bodies, thoughts, and souls. It's a journey, not a destination, and one that calls for constant care, attention, and dedication. Living in harmony ultimately means living in accordance with our true selves. It involves realizing that we are a part of the complex web of life that interconnects everything, not something distinct from it. It involves respecting our own needs and desires while keeping other people's needs and desires in mind. It is about living a life that truly reflects the divine harmony that permeates the cosmos and ourselves by achieving balance in every aspect of our existence. Chapter 20. The Sacred Power of Faith. Faith serves as the unseen link between the divine truth that exists outside the bounds of the material world and our human experience. It is the force that guides us with an inner knowledge that is greater than reason and logic as it navigates the uncertainties of life. Faith is more than just believing in something that isn't visible. It's a dynamic force that lives within of us, actively shaping our reality and guiding us towards spiritual satisfaction. Living by faith is having faith in the I Am presence that exists within us, giving ourselves over to the divine flow of life, and facing life's journey with bravery, self-assurance, and grace. The foundation of our spiritual path is faith. It is the cornerstone around which all other qualities stand, the source of light that guides us, and the rock that keeps us steady when life's storms hit. Without faith, the winds of fear and doubt carry us around like sand in a sea of uncertainty. However, when we have faith, we are able to face life's obstacles with grace and resiliency because we are rooted in the reality of our divine nature and connected to the universe's boundless wisdom and power. Fundamentally, faith consists of a strong trust in life's goodness and the conviction that despite our limited vision, everything is happening in accordance with a divine purpose. It is the knowledge that, in spite of the challenges we may encounter, God is always there to support, guide, and love us. Faith is an inner understanding that surpasses appearances and is derived from our connection to the I Am presence within us. It is not contingent on outside circumstances. The capacity of faith to alter our perspective of reality is among its most potent characteristics. When we see the world through the prism of faith, we are able to see past appearances and uncover the underlying reality. We understand that hurdles are not the same as growth opportunities, that hardships are not the same as punishments, but rather as lessons meant to advance us, and that every experience, no matter how unpleasant or challenging, is a necessary component of the journey of our souls. Through faith, we are able to recognize how the divine is influencing every part of our life and directing us toward what is best for us. Our ability to behave inspiredly is another gift from faith. It offers us the bravery to leave our comfort zones, go after our goals, and live in accordance with our greatest aspirations. Acting with faith means actively co-creating with the divine, harmonizing our will with the will of the cosmos, and bringing our aspirations to pass rather than passively wishing for the best. All great accomplishments stem from faith. It is the strength that keeps us going when the road ahead seems bleak, and the vitality that keeps us going when the going gets tough. However, faith is more than just having confidence in a higher power. It's also having confidence in oneself. It is the understanding that we are heavenly creatures with the capacity to create, heal, and change the course of our existence. Having faith in oneself entails having confidence in one's own inner knowledge, aptitude, and ability to overcome obstacles and realize one's objectives. It entails realizing that we are deserving of love, prosperity, and contentment, and that we have the ability to design the life we want. Another effective tool for healing is faith. Remaining steadfast in the face of sickness, misfortune, or bereavement allows us to access the boundless restorative potential of our inner I Am self. This healing force brings wholeness and harmony to all part of our being, not only the physical body. It also affects our emotions, thoughts, and spirits. By releasing the doubt and fear that might obstruct the flow of healing energy, faith enables us to receive the divine gift that rejuvenates, heals, and restores us. However, faith is not always easy. There will be times when our faith is tested, when we are faced with challenges that seem insurmountable, and when we are tempted to give in to fear and doubt. In these moments, it is important to remember that faith is not about having all the answers. It is about trusting in the process, even when the outcome is uncertain. It is about holding on to the belief that everything is working out for our highest good, even when the path ahead is unclear. Faith is the bridge that carries us through the darkness, guiding us towards the light of a new dawn. To cultivate faith, we must develop a deep and abiding connection to the I Am presence within us. This connection is the source of our faith, the wellspring of divine wisdom and guidance that sustains us in times of need. We can strengthen this connection through prayer, meditation, and other spiritual practices that bring us into alignment with our true nature. As we deepen our connection to the divine, our faith grows stronger, and we are able to navigate the challenges of life with greater ease and confidence. Faith also requires us to let go of the need for control. When we try to control every aspect of our lives, we block the flow of divine energy and limit the possibilities available to us. Faith is about surrendering to the divine flow, trusting that the universe has our best interests at heart, and allowing life to unfold in its own perfect way. This does not mean that we sit back and do nothing. It means that we take inspired action while trusting in the wisdom and timing of the universe. As we cultivate faith, we begin to experience a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. We no longer feel the need to struggle or strive. Instead, we move through life with grace and ease, knowing that we are always supported and guided by the divine. Our relationships improve, our health improves, and our sense of purpose becomes clearer. We find that life becomes more joyful, more meaningful, and more abundant as we align ourselves with the flow of divine grace. In the end, faith is the key to living a life of purpose, fulfillment, and joy. It is the foundation upon which we build our spiritual lives, the source of our strength and resilience, and the bridge that connects us to the infinite possibilities of the universe. Let us then choose to live by faith, to trust in the I Am presence within us, and to embrace the journey of life with courage, confidence, and grace. In doing so, we will not only transform our own lives, but also contribute to the creation of a world that reflects the love, peace, and harmony of the divine order. Chapter 21. The Journey to Self-Mastery. Attained self-mastery, we fully accept our divine nature and rise above the ego's limits, marking the apex of our spiritual journey. This involves developing a profound sense of inner peace, living in harmony with the I Am presence inside ourselves, and realizing our full potential in all facets of our existence. Acquiring perfection is not the goal of self-mastery. Rather, it involves accepting our actual selves, flaws and all, and persistently working to develop into the people we were always meant to be. Being self-aware is the first step towards achieving self-mastery. Understanding ourselves is the first step toward mastering ourselves. This entails being brutally honest with ourselves about our feelings, ideas, and actions, figuring out the patterns that mold our life, and figuring out where we still have room for improvement. Being present with oneself, observing our inner lives objectively, and developing an openness and curiosity about who we are all necessary for developing self-awareness. With this knowledge, we can start to recognize the areas in which we are not in harmony with who we really are and the actions that we must take to change. The capacity to control our thoughts is one of the essential components of self-mastery. Our thoughts have the ability to create powerfully. They mold our reality and direct our behavior. Our ideas give rise to a world that reflects their negative, frightened, or restricting characteristics. However, when we practice thinking big, empowered, and optimistic thoughts, we create a world that is full with opportunities for development and fulfillment. Taking charge of our ideas, selecting those that support our highest goals, and letting go of ones that no longer benefit us are all parts of self-mastery. Another crucial element of self-mastery is emotional mastery. The energy that drives our ideas and behaviors is found in our emotions. Emotions that take control of us can cause us to behave impulsively and make poor decisions or take actions that we later come to regret. The goal of emotional mastery is to learn to feel our emotions fully, comprehend where they come from, and control how we react to them, not to repress or reject them. It's about learning how to handle life's ups and downs with grace, stay composed in the face of difficulties, and nurture feelings that energize and strengthen us. We must also acquire devotion and discipline if we are to achieve self-mastery. The capacity for discipline is the capacity to maintain our attention on our objectives and to act consistently, even in the face of difficulty or discomfort, to achieve them. It is the readiness to carry out necessary tasks even in the face of discomfort and to press on through difficult and protracted journeys. Dedication to our own development and evolution, along with the will to persevere in pursuing our goals in the face of setbacks, characterize commitment. The cornerstones of self-mastery are dedication and discipline, which provide us the fortitude and resiliency we require to face obstacles and accomplish our objectives. The development of self-love and self-compassion is a crucial component of self-mastery. We punish ourselves for our perceived flaws and hold ourselves to unreasonable standards much too frequently. We are our own worst critics. However, self-mastery is about accepting and loving ourselves exactly as we are, flaws and all, rather than striving for perfection. Self-love is the acceptance that, just by virtue of our existence, we are divine beings deserving of respect and affection. the capacity to love oneself, accept responsibility for our errors, and encourage oneself through life's hardships, is known as self-compassion. Our path to self-mastery is supported when we build an inner strength and resilience base via the practice of self-love and self-compassion. Spiritual development is a necessary component of the path to self-mastery. We learn about the divine inside us, establish a connection with the I Am presence, and live in accordance with our actual nature via the process of mastering ourselves. Gaining knowledge or reaching enlightenment are not the goals of spiritual growth. Rather, it is about strengthening our bond with the divine, developing inner serenity, and embodying our divine essence in all facets of our existence. Living according to the values of love, truth, and compassion means putting these virtues into practice in all of our words, deeds, and thoughts. As we make headway towards self-mastery, we start to feel a deep sense of inner fulfillment and tranquility. We have discovered a strong feeling of self-worth and self-acceptance within ourselves, so we no longer feel the need to look to other people for validation or approval. We have gained the self-assurance and inner power to overcome life's obstacles, so we are no longer motivated by fear or insecurity. We have learned to trust in life's divine flow and submit to the wisdom of the I Am presence, so we no longer feel the need to control or manipulate others. Self-mastery is a lifelong process of development and evolution rather than a goal. It is an ongoing process of self-improvement, strengthening our relationship with God and realizing our true potential. It's a journey that calls for endurance, patience, and a strong dedication to our own development. But as we discover the real essence of who we are and learn to live in accordance with our greatest potential, it is also a path filled with great joy and fulfillment. Ultimately, leading a happy, fulfilled life is the essence of self-mastery. It's about taking control of our own fate and designing a life that embodies the harmony, beauty, and knowledge of the divine. It's about accepting who we really are, flaws and all, and making an ongoing effort to develop into the people we were always meant to be. The fundamental reality that we are a reflection of the divine, not something distinct from it, is revealed to us as we journey towards self-mastery. Our ultimate goal is to live in accordance with this understanding and create a life that reflects the harmony and beauty of the cosmos.